Well, let's turn on to the right in our Bibles to Galatians 6. And this is really the theme of this section. New Testament, Galatians, and then Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians. Right after the big 1st, 2nd Corinthians, and then Galatians 6 in your New Testament. Because over everything we look at tonight is a reminder that, as we've seen, that the unguarded moments in David's life led him to sin. That's 2 Samuel 11 and 12 and Psalm 32 and Psalm 38 and Psalm 51. But now we transition to the second big theme of David's final years, and that is that the inevitable consequences to his sin led to pain in his life. Tonight we're going to look at the pain he received from Absalom, the pain he receives from Shimei, the pain he receives from the whole preceding event. Absalom rebelled because Ammon raped his sister Tamar, Absalom's sister, and that made Absalom angry, and so he murders his brother. And all these things, the Scriptures tell us, all of these things were the consequences to David's sin. When Nathan pointed at David and pointed out that he had sinned, he said, "The sword will never depart from your house, David." And he said, "You're going to pay fourfold for what you've done." And David did. He lost 4 sons. The baby that Bathsheba conceived died. Ammon was murdered. Absalom was killed by Joab. Adonijah was killed also by Solomon after the rebellion. 4 sons in a row, fourfold response. Because, look at what it says in Galatians 6, starting in verse 7. Because there's lessons to be learned from David that are difficult but so necessary. And for any and all of us today, we should heed Paul's words as they ring across the twisted wreckage of so many lives. And here they are. Do not be deceived, Galatians 6:7. God is not mocked. For whatever a man sows, that he will also reap. For he who sows to his flesh will from the flesh reap corruption. But he who sows to the Spirit will of the Spirit reap life everlasting. Verse 9, and let us not grow weary while doing good. For in due season we shall reap if we do not lose heart. Although we often forget about it, both halves of this verse apply to us as believers. It impacts us deeply. In fact, most Christians find that they are still reaping the unpleasant long-term consequences of past bad choices. What's amazing is when we get saved, God does not stop all the bad consequences of things we did in our past life. And it also runs into our current life. We can still make bad decisions. We can still do things that are having ongoing consequences even after we're saved.